Welcome, whoever is joining in. We'll start at 6 o'clock sharp. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We'll get started in 6-7 minutes, sharp at 6 o'clock. Thanks for joining. Kindly wait. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. We'll get started in another 5 minutes. Kindly wait. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Jamboree's webinar. We'll just get started in another 2-3 minutes. Thank you. Good evening and welcome. My name is Vineet Gupta. We'll just get started in a minute. We just have some more people joining in, so I'll just give them a minute to come in. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? On the Q&A feature, if some of you can just type yes. Somebody said they can't. Akshay said, I cannot hear you. Okay, so a lot of yeses coming. Okay. Akshay, I hope you can hear me now because I'm getting a lot of replies with people saying they can hear me. Okay, thank you. Can hear very well. Okay, thank you. So welcome and thanks for joining in on a Sunday. Perhaps we'll get started. So my name is Vineet Gupta. I'm one of the founders and directors of Jamboree. Jamboree, as you know, is a test prep company, and we also guide students on applications abroad. I'm an alumnus of IIT Delhi. I graduated in 1991, and I've been running this company now for the last almost 20 years. I'm also joined in by my colleagues, Sharmishta and Anamika. Sharmishta and Anamika, if you can just quickly turn on your videos and okay, welcome Sharmishta and welcome.
Thanks for having me.
And Sharmishta and Anamika are both part of our counseling team, and they work extensively with students to guide them and train them on their applications. So while we take you through the presentation and talk about your options later on in the question and answer session, they'll join me to answer your questions.
Thank you for having us here, sir. Welcome, everyone.
So what we want to cover today, as the topic of the webinar suggested, a lot of the webinar we want to talk about some of the options you have to study abroad. We also specifically want to talk about the SAT exam, right? What the SAT exam is, and specifically, I think some of you have mentioned that, you know, or we were getting questions that some colleges are waiving or have made SAT test optional. So what does that mean, right? So we also want to cover that. Somebody has just written, an anonymous attendee, that you can't hear me. Now I can't help you. Do try to log in, log out and log in, and maybe you can. But the others, everybody else has written to say they can hear me. We have disabled the chat feature, if you know. So whatever you want to type out, you have to type out on the Q&A feature, right? And don't worry about it. If something gets missed, I'll repeat. If you log out and you log back in and you still think you want me to repeat something, I'll do that. So don't worry about that. Feel free to ask questions. You can start posting your questions on the Q&A even as I start speaking, because that'll give us an idea on what you would like to hear. If there is anything specific you would like me to talk about, you can already put that up on the Q&A, right? I encourage you to put that up on the QA. Any specific concern, any question you have, you all can already put up on the Q&A. So what I'll be doing today, I'll probably make a presentation for 20-25 minutes, right? And after that, we will be answering your questions. How many of you, just to get an idea, how many of you are already preparing for the SAT? If you can write yes, yes, yes now. How many of you are already preparing for the SAT? Okay, just 2 people. I got 2 answers till now. Okay, a lot of other answers I got. Okay, Arya, Amrav, Akshay, Pranav, Pratham, Rajesh. Okay, so that's about 10 odd people. Okay, I'm planning to prepare is what Mohammed says. He is at an individual level is what Renuka said. Okay, so quite a few, 16, 17 few. Can you also start putting down what grades you are in? So if you've just gone into 10th or 9th or 11th or 12th, I'm assuming those would be the 4 grades. That'll also give me a sense of the audience. Just put your grade. Okay, Pratham is 11th. Somebody is logged on from Windows 10, 12th, Satyam 12th, Amrap 12th, grade 11. Just write your grade, Kusha Varshni. If you can write your grade, just got into 11th, 12th, in 12th, 11th, 12th. Somebody's completed 12th, started 12th. Renuka is 10th. Manisha is 10th. Shridhar is 11th, class 11. Jaydev passed out. So a lot of people in class 12, some people in class 11, and also some people who've passed class 12 and a couple of people in class 10. Okay, so that gives us a fairly good idea of the mix. May I also ask if any of you are preparing with Jamboree? You can write yes or no, right? How many of you are preparing from Jamboree's classes? You can either write yes or no. Okay, a lot of yeses. No, yes. Okay, no, yes, no, yes. Preparing, no. Okay, so it's sort of mixed crowd. Okay, welcome everyone, welcome. Okay, so I'll get started, and you can also start putting your questions. Any doubts and questions you have, you can already start putting them. That will also give us a sense on how to tailor the presentation. Okay, just start putting your questions. Somebody already said that they would like to understand how to go about writing essays, and we will do that. We will cover that, right? But anything else you want me to cover, just start. Okay, a lot of people are saying they are preparing, some are still not preparing. Okay, so 60-40 split. Okay, how many people here have no idea on what SAT is, and this is the first time they're attending a webinar? Can you write no idea? If you have no idea, how many people here in the audience who have no idea on the webinar of SAT? So a lot of people are already preparing, but if somebody interested, no idea. I found reading difficult, no idea. Okay, so a couple of people have written no idea. Okay, Pratham's written finding reading difficult. Okay, Vinny's asking if someone wishes to give the ACT, then do they give the SAT subject test too? Okay, so maybe 5 5-6 people also saying no idea, right? Questions about SAT versus subject test. Okay. So I think there's a fair bit of mix here in the audience. Okay. Can SAT go online also? Jaydev is asking. Yeah. So you don't have to reply to my questions on chat. You can reply to my questions on Q&A. Okay. Satyam is saying, I don't have any extra applications. We'll talk about that. Somebody's asking, okay, these are all questions we can cover. How can we prepare for SAT? Kusha is asking. That also we'll cover. Okay. And Anamika and Sharmishta, if you can start making note of these questions. So later on, when we finish the presentation, we can take them one by one, right? What is the scope of SAT in India? Meera is asking. Meera will cover that also. Extracurricular activities. Okay, I get a very good sense. Okay. So let me get started. Ideal time for giving SAT. Ideal. Okay, great. So I'll get started and then maybe some of your questions will get covered as I speak, and then some of the other questions we can take later on. Okay, so Jamboree, we run 39 centers across 22 cities and 4 countries. We have been operating since 1993. Again, to introduce myself for some of you who came in late, my name is Vineet Gupta. I'm one of the directors with Jamboree. I've been involved with the company since 1995, running its operations, and I'm also joined by my colleagues, Sharmishta and Anamika, both of whom are part of our admissions counseling service. We not only help you prepare for SAT, but we also help you with admissions counseling. So they both are part of that service and help us with that, and help each student with that. So what we will cover today is some of the study options. What are the countries you can look at, including where SAT can help you in India. We will talk a little bit about admissions criteria. What do universities look at? We will talk about the SAT and ACT exam, the relevance of SAT, and we will also talk about score improvements, right? Which are some of the countries that Indian students go to? And clearly the top choice is US, followed by Canada. Singapore is a great choice. Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. And these are all, if you can notice, these are all English speaking countries. Still not too many students from India going to a Japan or a China or even to Germany or France, even though they have very high quality education systems. France and Germany is now starting, but clearly it's English speaking countries where students go, and US sort of continues to be the Mecca where most students go. India, a lot of new universities have come up in India in the last 10 years. Some outstanding ones, including Ashoka University, which I have the great fortune of being associated with. I'm also one of the founders and trustees of Ashoka University. I've been deeply involved with setting up Ashoka. I continue to be involved in its management. But I've also, through my experience with Ashoka, I also got a deep insight into some other universities like Ahmedabad University, Azim Premji, Bennett, BML Munjal, Flame, Gandhi Institute of Technology and Management, KRIA, which is a university which has come up in the south. So if some of you are already preparing for SAT, and the good news is that SAT is accepted by all of these private universities in India now. And some of them, especially Ashoka, I think are doing a wonderful job. They have become the beacon and torchbearer for a high quality liberal arts education in India. And liberal arts, just to say, is not an education just in the humanities and arts. Liberal arts and sciences broadly covers all disciplines within the social sciences, economics, psychology, political science, all disciplines in the humanities, literature, history, sciences, computer science. Yes, computer science is a key part of a liberal arts and sciences degree, mathematics, biology, physics. So Ashoka does offer an undergraduate degree in all of these disciplines. There's another university that I'm involved with, Plaksha, which is more on the engineering and technology side. So some of you looking at degrees in computer science, robotics, biological sciences, data sciences, Plaksha is the place to consider, and some other institutions that are mentioned in your slides. So some of you, if you are writing the SAT and still want to consider Indian options, you have some great options in India too. A little bit about the different country options. While SAT is accepted in the US, it's accepted in some of the universities that I mentioned in India. It's also accepted in Singapore, for example, with the Singapore Management University, some universities in Canada. But otherwise, Canada, UK, Ireland, Singapore, Australia, New Zealand continue to be some great destinations for education abroad. And the advantages of each country are sort of listed here. Canada, because it's flexible, great job opportunities, it's very friendly on PR policies, about 8-10 great universities. United Kingdom and Ireland, prestigious colleges, Oxford, Cambridge, of course, are the top ones. Ireland is emerging as a great destination, so that's a country you should look at. Singapore, very close to India, just a 4-hour flight. 3 top universities, National University of Singapore, Nanyang Technology University, and the Singapore Management University. Very high quality education, very safe, fairly economical compared to US, Canada, and United Kingdom, but very tight on capacity. So very few students are able to go to Singapore. Australia, New Zealand, again, a great option, friendly PR policies, very good for courses in hotel management, hospitality, some of those courses, right? And some good universities in Australia. US, which continues to be the Mecca for students going from India. And we broadly categorize US universities into 4 categories. Top private universities, Harvard, MIT, Yale, Stanford, UPenn. Top public universities, Berkeley, UCLA, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, UT Austin, Georgia Tech, Boston University, University of Rochester, Johns Hopkins, Ohio State, Penn State, Wisconsin, Madison, Purdue, Texas A&M. A country which you may not have heard too much about, but we do want to talk about it, is Ireland. Now, Ireland is part of the European Union. In fact, it's the only country in the Eurozone now where English is the language of communication. France, Germany, Spain, Italy, some of the other countries in the European Union are non-English speaking. Britain, which was English speaking, has now exited European Union with Brexit. So Ireland is the only country. And Ireland is very top-notch in life sciences, biopharma, medical devices, in information technology, software. And some of the top multinational companies like Apple, Intel, Pfizer, IBM, Citibank, Facebook, Yahoo, Google, all of them have their headquarters in Ireland. And Ireland also has 8 of the world's top 10 IT companies and pharmaceutical and life sciences companies. And some of the top universities, University College Dublin, Dublin City University, National University of Ireland, National University of Ireland, Galway, the Maynooth campus and the Galway campus, University College Cork. These are some top universities in Ireland. Great employment opportunities, opportunities to stay back. So that's another country. If some of you had not evaluated Ireland, then do think about Ireland, right? We personally feel it may be a better option than the United Kingdom. And what should be your application strategy? For some of you, especially all of those who are in class 12 now, and I saw that half the audience is in class 12, and there were many people in class 11. People who are in class 11 will be joining college in 2022. And a lot of the uncertainty due to the COVID crisis would be over. So for you, the world is open. But next year, there is some uncertainty. So how should you plan? Especially those of you who are looking to apply to the US, you should spread yourself across the US. So don't look at colleges only in New York or in California, but pick colleges across US, right? In Texas, in some of the other states, so that you can spread yourself. You can spread your risk. You can expand your country choices. Don't just look at US. Also look at other countries, whether a Singapore or Ireland or any Canada. Canada is a great country to go to. So look at, also apply to some other countries. Look at options in India. So add some Indian options like an Ashoka, Ahmedabad, Kriya, Flame. Start writing your applications now. So people who are in class 12, you have a good opportunity. It's summer vacation. It is lockdown. Schools may open on July 1. They may open on August 1. They could even open later by August 12. So all of you are at home at that point. You can't go out and play that much. Although now the lockdown has been eased up. The opportunities to interact freely are limited. So I'm assuming most of you are still operating from your homes. So use this time to build your application strategy, right? You will get busy with your school the moment it opens. So use this time to build an application strategy. Start looking at which are some of the colleges you want to apply to, right? Start pulling, somebody had a question on essays. Take out the list of essays, start preparing on your essays. The admissions criteria, and this is something I'm assuming most of you know. If you don't know, then colleges the world over, all the colleges, whether it's United Kingdom, whether it's Canada, whether it's Singapore, United States, even India, some of the universities that I put, these are the different things they look at. They look at your standardized scores, SAT, ACT, they look at TOEFL, IELTS, they look at your academic record, right from grade 9, 10, 11, some part of grade 12. They look at your extracurricular activities. They make you write some essays. So essays is a very, very key component of the application process. Letters of recommendation from your teachers. You need to submit 2 or 3 letters of recommendations from your teachers. And in some instances, universities also interview. So it's a fairly comprehensive process if you see, unlike if you are writing the IIT joint entrance exam or applying to Delhi University or Bombay University or Chennai or Bangalore, where you are just, your admission is based on your percentage. The admissions to foreign universities are more holistic. So they are evaluating you on a variety of criteria, right? And some of you had questions around extracurriculars, which I will answer, right? Academic record across 9, 10th, 11th, and a little bit of 12th mid-year. If you've not done too well in your academics in 10th, 11th, I would encourage you that do well in your SAT. Your SAT can really, really help you do well, right? Extracurriculars, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what activity you've done. But if you can excel in 1 or 2 activities, you could have done dance, you could have done music, you could have done sports, you could have done any community project. You could have helped migrants in this COVID crisis. You could have built an app. You could have built website. You could have done some online courses. So there is a variety of things you can do to build your extracurricular profile. You can do MUN. One is not important over the other. It doesn't mean that one matters more than the other. But if you have done them deeply, if you excel in 1 or 2 activities, that really helps and that really counts. So do try to excel in 1 or 2 activities. I hope I've answered the question on extracurriculars, but I can take more questions later. Essays, universities want you to write a variety of essays, and we will be covering some of that later. Letters of recommendation, normally 2 or 3 from your teachers and from your school counselor, and some universities interview. So this is all that counts in your application, and we can chat more about it later. For some of you who don't know about the SAT exam, I just wanted to put it up here. SAT is conducted 5 times a year. This time it's also being conducted in September. So for those of you in class 12, there is an August date, there is an end of September date, there is also an October date, right? So many opportunities. It's valid for 5 years. The ACT conducted 24 times a year, Feb, April, June, again valid for 5 years. The SAT largely tests you in verbal ability, writing ability, and math, right? And there is an essay section. So the total exam, if you see, is 65 plus 35, 100 minutes, plus 55 and 25, 80, 180 minutes plus essay. So it's about a 4-hour exam. Each section, the verbal section is out of 800, the math section is also out of 800, and the essay is out of 8. So you get a total score out of 1600, and you get a separate essay score, which is out of 8, right? It is a multiple choice exam. You are given a question, and then you have 4 options, and you have to pick the right option, right? In math, there is a section where you also need to fill in, right? It's not a multiple choice, but you have to fill in the right answer, right? The ACT has 4 sections: English section, a reading section, math section, and a science section, right? Similarly, it is about a 4-hour exam with the writing, with the essay section. Each section is graded out of 36, right? And then you will get another, your full score will also come out of 36. So every separate section will be graded out of 36, and then you will get a full score out of 36, and again an essay score out of 12. The science section is more reading about science. It's not so much testing you on concepts about science, but more reading about science. The syllabus for SAT and ACT both is class 10, right? Whether it's ACT or SAT, but it's tricky, right? The level of English, and as somebody said that they are finding reading difficult, the level of reading can be tough, right? So I will encourage you to practice. Read to improve your reading. Subscribe, for example, to the New York Times. If somebody just wants to improve reading, read from there, right? Time magazine, New York Times, any journals. So any US based publication can really help you develop your reading. Sample question: what are the sort of questions that come on the SAT? So just an example, in George Orwell's famous allegorical novel, Animal Farm, the pigs were the smartest animals in the group, yet they became the tyrannical leaders. So first option, no change. And second, should we replace yet with but, or with and, or with although? And what's a quick way to solve this question? I know some of you are studying at Jamboree, so you'll be able to do it quickly. But for some others, if you see yet, but, and although, they are all contrasting words. I do this, yet I also do this. I do this, although so they are contrast. So they all mean the same in some manner. So if we have to pick one, and is different, right? And is different from the other 3. So a quick way, even without trying to understand the sentence, a quick way to solve it is to pick the one word which is different from the other 3, right? So let me try another question. If any of the changes discussed on the Supreme Court premises occur, will have a huge effect on the sentiments of Indian public. Now, we have to pick what is the right option. For a minute, if I were to eliminate the words between the commas discussed on the Supreme Court premises, if I eliminate them, then the sentence reads, if any of the changes occur, will have a huge effect. So with changes, what will we have? Occur or occurs? Clearly occur. So there are only 2 options, occur and occur they, right? But we also need a preposition. So we will have, if any of the changes occur, they will have a huge effect on the sentiments of Indian public, right? So this is a quick way again of solving this question. Again, an example of a math question. I'm sure some people at Jamboree have seen it, but again, given ABCD is a square of 5 centimeter, E and F are the midpoints of BC and CD effectively. Find the ratio of the area of the shaded portion to the total area. Again, fairly easy to do. It's class 10 math mensuration. You calculate the area of the square. You calculate the area of the triangle BDC. You subtract triangle EFC. You get the area of the shaded portion divided by the total area, and you will get your answer. What's a quick way to do this question? What if you divide this square into triangles? And how many triangles did we divide this in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 triangles. And if you see, all these triangles are equal area, right? The shaded are 3. The total triangles are 8. So our answer becomes 3 upon 8, right? So this is a good way or a quick way to sort of solve this question. These are the sort of questions that get tested on the SAT. Some of you who want to attempt can do the diagnostic test at jamboree.li/SAT-test, right? If you want to try more questions. If you want to explore coaching with Jamboree, you can get in touch with us. You can put your phone numbers on the Q&A and you can say interested in coaching and we will reach out to you. Subject test. Other than the SAT, a few top universities like Harvard, Cornell highly recommend taking the subject test. Subject tests are increasingly not mandatory, right? Very few universities have them mandatory now. They are mostly recommended. But I should tell you that in top universities, recommended really means that you should write them. Although I should mention that for next year, for 2021, because of the COVID situation, most universities have waived off SAT subject tests. But top universities, again, my experience has been, if you get the opportunity, please do take subject tests. For people in class 11, in class 10 currently, who will be applying in 2022 or later, and targeting some of the top universities, you should take the subject test. If you are not targeting some of the universities like a Harvard, Cornell, etc., you don't need to write. Even some schools like a Michigan and Arbor, Purdue, Stanford, Urbana-Champaign don't require, right? So very few universities now require subject tests, especially the Ivy Leagues like a Harvard, Cornell, University of Pennsylvania, Columbia, Dartmouth. And if your target is any of these universities, you should be writing the subject test. However, if you are in class 12 and applying next year, you may choose not to write. Universities have gone on record and say, we will not penalize anybody who's not written because the subject test dates, May test got cancelled and June test got cancelled. So, so it can be taken in a maximum of 3 subjects on a given date, right? Physics, chemistry, bio, math level 1, math level 2, literature, world history, American history, languages. It's normally a 1-hour exam. What scores do you need to get into top universities or good universities or any university? Most schools do not have score cutoffs. Schools prefer students with balanced sectional profiles. You compete in your own country pool. So your competition is with each other. You're not competing with somebody from China, somebody from Europe, somebody from Africa, right? You're competing with one another. Universities want a diverse class. Indians tend to score high on SAT. So your SAT scores, you should be targeting at good scores. And sometimes for the topmost universities, a good score is not the only thing you need. You would also need good academics, good extracurriculars, good application, good essays. And we will talk about this. There has also been, and this news is only relevant for people who are currently in class 12. People who are in 10th and 11th now and are applying for 2022 or 2023, please ignore. This is only applicable to people who have currently gone into class 12. Some universities, very few, have gone and said that SAT is test optional for next year. So like University of California, and I've really picked up this statement from their site, students applying for fall 21 are not, but it says are not precluded. That means it's not that you don't have to write. And sending scores if they are able. So you can send scores if you want to. So it's test optional. It's not a waiver. Please understand the difference. They have not said waive. They have said it's optional. Doing so can support, you see, eligibility, application for certain scholarships open up, help them fulfill some university graduation requirements. Campuses will adjust their internal processes accordingly. They're saying we will not hold it against you, but you are welcome to submit, right? Also, then the next line says this modification is not intended as an admissions policy shift, but is rather a temporary accommodation driven by the current extraordinary circumstances. So it is only for next year. If people in 10th, 11th, it's not for all of you. So don't get misled. For those applying to fall 21 or spring 22 semester, BU will be tested. So this is Boston University. Again, another one. The first one was California. This one is Boston. Will be test optional. Test optional means you have an option. Now, University of Massachusetts Amherst, what does it say? We know many of you have questions about how we might proceed for next year, given the unknowns about changes to high school grading systems and the postponement of the SAT and ACT exams. The answer at this time is that we simply don't know yet. We are working under the assumption that the College Board will keep its late August and early October test dates, and ACT will keep its September and October dates. Testing on these dates will allow students to apply. So they are saying, look, we don't know if the SAT and ACT tests happen in August, September, October, then it seems they are asking you to write the test. MIT, what does MIT say? MIT has made the decision to no longer consider the SAT subject test. We will continue to require the SAT or the ACT, right? So what does this mean for some of you in class 12? Very few universities have gone test optional, which means that SAT test is not required. Test optional means it's not required, but you have an option. Our sense is that there are about 15, 20 universities. We believe the SAT still gives you an advantage. So please do write the test in September, October, if you can, right? You compete in your own country pool. So if others have written, you will be at a disadvantage if you have not written, right? So strong advice to write it. This is advices anyway for class 12 students. Class 10 and 11, you anyway have to write. You don't have a test optional of any kind. If August, September, and October administration happen, you will be at a disadvantage if you have not written SAT. Very few colleges have announced. So you may be restricted in choice of, whenever you apply to US, you pick a basket of 10, 15 colleges. If 5 are test optional and the other 10 are not, you are still stuck, right? So Jamboree's strong recommendation is that even students in class 12 should be writing the SAT, whether in late August or early September or October. I would also urge you to book 2 dates. Maybe book a late August date and book a October date, just to be totally sure, right? And I'm happy to take questions. Now, in addition to SAT, and this is for everyone, of course, people who have gone into class 10, 12 now, you can't do anything about your 9th, 10th, 11th. For people in 11th, your 11th grades matter, right? And 11th normally is tougher grading by school. So please pay attention to 11th grade. Pay attention to 12th midterms. And this is for everyone, even students who've gone into class 12. Poor academic grades can be compensated with a high SAT score. Academic profile can be enhanced by taking AP courses or taking some other courses from sites such as Coursera, edX, etc. Right? Academic through SAT and your grades is an important component of your application. Extracurriculars, the more diverse, the better. Quality and depth more important than quantity. Don't try to put 10 things on your application. Even if you put 2, 3, which are deep, it will help you more. Hobbies count as extracurricular activities. Find ways to showcase your extracurricular activities to the admissions committee. Create blogs, create YouTube channels. That will help you. Essays and SOPs, you will end up writing a variety of essays in your application process. The number could be 10, 15. If you have picked 10, 15 colleges, a lot of the topics are repetitive, right? And the essays are more about content than about language. Think about your life story. Try to bring your deepest experience forward to the application process. Recommendation 3 are required from your teachers, 1 from ideally the school principal or counselor, which is mandatory. Scholarships and financial aid. US continues to be the mecca for scholarships. Colleges like Harvard, MIT, Yale are need blind. What does need blind mean? Which means that if you have the merit to get in, you can get up to full scholarship. And scholarship is based on need. They will ask for your family income. And if your family income justifies that you need scholarship, you can get up to full scholarship. Universities like Brown, Stanford, Johns Hopkins are not need blind, but need based. Cornell, Columbia, some of these other colleges are combination of need based and merit based, and a whole lot of other colleges in the US. What we've displayed on this site are only the top ones, but there are a whole lot of other colleges in the US which give you a fair bit of scholarship. So US is a mecca for scholarships. And then we've displayed some colleges, Ivy League and the top 50, you need scores of 1500 plus. Harvard, Princeton, Brown, Columbia, Cornell, Yale, UPenn, Dartmouth are the 8 Ivy League universities on this list. But others like MIT, Stanford, Caltech are of course top-notch too. So this is probably the most sort of top universities of the US. All of them will require high scores. But there are other universities which you can get in with like a 1400 plus. I think this was the list. Michigan, Urbana-Champaign, UT Austin, Berkeley, UCLA, Georgia Tech, Purdue, NYU. And then with 1300 plus, there's another list. Ohio State, Virginia Tech, USC, Boston University, Penn State, Stony Brook. And these are all outstanding universities, I should tell you, right? Higher you score, the better university you get in. The higher you score, the better are your chances for scholarship. For students in class 12, there is an early decision deadline, which is normally November 1. If you apply on that deadline, your chances become slightly better, but you can apply to only one college, and it can be binding or non-binding, depending on whether it's early decision or early action. And the regular decision deadline is January 1. So what is an ideal timeline? We normally encourage students to start thinking about applying abroad in 9-10, right? Because 9-10 is the time when you can really indulge in extracurriculars and enhance them. When you come into 11th, start preparing for SAT, try to write your SAT in class 11. Otherwise, write it in class 12. Start your applications in August of class 12, we've written, but I would suggest start them now. Pretty much in April, May. Give yourself a head start. You will know what the gaps are in your application. Finish your applications by January 1. Admissions decision will come by end of March, and visa will happen in June. You can depart in August. So that's sort of the timeline. Somebody had a question, what is an ideal timeline? And this is, we've put it up for all of you to see. So to end, this is a great time to prepare, get yourself test ready, especially people in class 11, class 12. This is your time to prepare, write the SAT in September, October. Focus on profile enhancement. You can do online courses, you can do online internships, evaluate your study options, and start building an application strategy. How can you enhance your profile? Pick up a hobby, build on an existing one, shoot your videos, build a YouTube channel. You can take AP exams at home. You can do online courses from Coursera edX. You can create blogs. You can do online workshops. How can Jamboree help you? We did mention that we do coaching. So 60 hours of unparalleled concept-based training for people who are looking to prepare for SAT, well-researched study material, full-length test. Our online classes are going on. Some of you are already attending. For those of you who are not, you can leave your numbers and say that you are interested in our classes, and we will contact you. Studies, customized study plans, doubt clearing sessions, 1-year course validity. For those of you who are interested in university counseling, we help you shortlist colleges, which are the universities where you should apply. This is often difficult. Which university should you apply to? Where are your chances most? Content development. How do you write your SOPs, essays, LORs? Documentation assistance. What should you be writing where? How do you prepare your transcripts, financial documents, CV, application assistance, interview training, visa guidance. So we are with you right through. For people in class 10 and 11, we can start helping you even now. So we have a Dream College program and an early entry program, DCP and EEP. And if you are interested in any of those programs, or people in class 12, you want our admissions counseling help, you can just put your phone number and say admissions, phone number and admissions, and someone will contact you. So I think we are sort of at the end. You can contact us. Our website is jamboreeindia.com. You can also call these two numbers, Arun Bhatia and Damanpreet. These are the two numbers. If you want any assistance on our coaching, on our admissions package, Anamika and Sharmishta will also type in their email IDs if you have any questions on admissions, or if you want, my ID is Vineet, VINEET @jamboreeindia.com. You can write to me and I'm happy to answer your questions. So that's the end of our presentation. We will start answering your questions now. Let me pull out. And then I will also ask Sharmishta and Anamika if they have a set of questions. Let me first broadly read out some of the questions. Jamboree is coaching for subject test, Renuka. So if you did not know, we can, it's specialized. We do coach. SAT for UK. Most UK colleges don't require SAT. IELTS and TOEFL, both are not compulsory. You can take only one area. There are many colleges offering BBA courses in UK. Sharmishta, if you would like to, or Anamika, if you would like to unplug and talk about some of them, if you would be aware. But really, Warwick, UCL, University of Sussex, Essex, there's a variety of universities which offer a BBA. You want to add more to this?
Almost all the universities in UK, they do have a BBA major. So whether it's King's College or it's University of Edinburgh, all the universities, they do offer a BBA major.
Yeah. We have disabled chat, folks, so please write your questions on the Q&A. We can get your questions. Kusha is asking, I'm preparing for IIT JEE. Is it possible for me to? Yes, Kusha, it is possible. It's about a 3 to 6 month preparation. Far easier compared to IIT JEE. Lot of people do both. You may not need too much help on math, but you will need a lot of help on English. Will recording of this webinar be available? Yes, it can be available. We can send you. Do you recommend, Rajesh is asking, appearing for both SAT and ACT? Rajesh, we normally don't recommend, but you can try both, right? I would encourage you to go ahead with one, or take a full length test of both and see where are you scoring better. Some students do end up writing both. My own view is these days people are finding it far easier to score on SAT. This was not the case earlier, but now it's happening. But I would encourage you to write one out of the two. 60 to 70% of the preparation is common for both, but then ACT also requires you to, prepare a little bit on science. Jitendra Singh, what is the general range of SAT score for top 20 universities in US? Jitendra, it is upwards of 1500. For top 20 in the US, you have to target 1500 plus. Which are other countries other than US, I already spoke of. There are some universities in Singapore which require SAT, SMU in particular, some in Canada, Waterloo, British Columbia, Toronto, it helps. There are lots of colleges in India now, and I had put up that list. How do you rate Canadian education with respect to US? Do you have better chances with SAT? Canadian colleges largely look at percentage, I should mention. Canada quality of education is good, but the number of top quality universities are probably just 10, 12. US is massive, it's vast. 100 colleges, 100 universities. So everybody finds a good US college to go to, right? Flexibility in Canada, when we said it's open and friendly for PR. In terms of course options and course choices, US is more flexible. You can go in, you can enter a US university deciding that you even undecided, not knowing what you want to study, and you can make up your mind while you are studying there. But for Canada, you often do make up your mind, but it is more flexible in terms of your PR, your ability to be able to settle down. Can you get in with extracurriculars? You can get in with extracurriculars, Udesha. Extracurriculars help to sharpen your profile, but they are not mandatory. If you score well on the SAT and you have good percentage, you can get in, absolutely. How to represent extracurriculars? Alita is asking. There is a section on your application where you can write your extracurriculars. You can talk about your extracurriculars on your essays. And as I mentioned, you can talk about them in your blogs, etc. Shirmishta or Namika, you would want to add on extracurriculars? How can students represent or showcase their extracurriculars?
So one of the ways in which you can showcase your extracurriculars is through a digital footprint, a digital presence that you can do on YouTube channels or Facebook, either or both. These days, universities are very, very open to you including links in your applications to a blog or website that you created, or if you have a photography page, etc. You can include the link in your application and the university will be more than happy to go through it as a part of your journey towards the application that you're submitting to them.
You want to add something, Shamisha, since this question of extracurriculars is coming again and again?
I think Anamika has pretty much covered the digital part of the extracurriculars, but you can also add a few more things like doing online courses. That's a great way to compensate for the class 11 percentage, and that way students can also get an insight of what kind of course curriculum is followed in the US university. So a lot of online courses are being offered on Coursera and edX. Harvard is offering around 67 online courses for free during this lockdown. So I think that's another way to add to the extracurricular.
How many times can one appear for SAT? Multiple times, Jitendra. Normally students write it twice. Some write it once, some twice, some write it 3 times. I've never seen students write it more than that. And your highest score is counted, so don't worry. Class 10 syllabus of which board? Well, mostly if you are from an ICSE, CBSE, any of the international, any of the state boards, right? Math is pretty much similar. English level is higher, I must say, especially reading, right? When should one write the SAT? Preferably in 11th. I wouldn't encourage you to write it in 10th, but you can even write it in 12th, right? Preferred time is 11th because then you get 12th to do your applications. But even if you write it in 12th, as late as October, November of 12th, December of 12th, that's fine. Elita is saying, I read about MIT that it doesn't require SAT subject test. That's true, Elita. MIT no longer requires the subject test. That's true. But please note that if you are applying to top universities, then you may not be applying only to MIT. You may also apply to other top universities, right? It's never a wise strategy to apply only to one top university. Top universities in the US, I should mention, are extremely tough to get in. They are very, very competitive. So you have to score well on SAT. MIT says it doesn't require, but other top ones may not require. It's now recommended. What would be the rough scores? I already said top universities need 1500 plus. There are some other great universities like Purdue, Michigan, etc. We had put up the list, which sort of need a 1400 plus. Another great set of universities you can get at 1250, 13. So depending, as I mentioned in the beginning, US has 4,000 colleges and at least 200 out of these 4,000 are very good. Top ones, the top 20, 25, 1500 plus. Maybe the next 50 are 1400 plus. And the next, after that, 1250, 1300 plus. AP courses are courses in individual subjects that you can take and these courses, if you take, but please do take them only again if you are applying to top colleges. They help to give you college credit, right? On what basis do US universities give scholarships? Udesha is asking. And I do want to mention, mostly it's on merit. If you have high scores and you've made the cut, some top universities that we mentioned, Harvard, Yale, MIT, they are need blind. So there, if you are admitted, the scholarship would be given based on need. Sharmishta, would you want to add to the scholarship piece for US colleges?
Yeah, so the criteria for merit-based scholarship, there's again the entire application. So it is a holistic review of your application when the universities are considering you for scholarships also. So SAT scores, school scores, extracurricular activities, everything is going to play a part. And need-based scholarships or need-based financial aids, let's just put it that way. So need-based financial aid is going to be on the basis of the CSS profile that we fill along with the regular university application. So that's completely need-based. Obviously, profile is again going to play a part in it, but financial aid is only offered if you actually require it.
Is it good to take admission in Ashoka for BBA? Kunal, Ashoka doesn't offer BBA, but it offers a degree in economics and finance, and it's top notch. You, again, another question, you are in class 11, can you get June 21? You absolutely can. It doesn't matter if you don't have maths in 11, 12. Hard is asking, I'm in 12th now, should I prepare for SAT now? You can prepare now. You can prepare now and write the SAT exam by October this year. It's about a 3 to 5 month preparation. You are absolutely in time. Don't worry. Can you please elaborate on Canada? Well, Jitinder, Canada has about 20-25 top universities: University of British Columbia, Waterloo, Toronto, Queen, McGill. These are the top ones. Admission, you need the IELTS exam. SAT can help you, but SAT is not mandatory. Percentage, admissions are based on percentage. Percentage in your 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th, they are based on essays, they are based on your profile, extracurriculars, etc. I hope this answers. I am a student of Jamboree. How do I continue with online classes? Kathy, if you can put your number here, and if you can write to Jamboree India at Jamboree India, or you can write even to me, Vineet at Jamboree India, VINEET. I am just putting my email ID to you here. Okay. Prashant, can I also request you to enable the chat feature so that we can put our email IDs? Okay. Sharmishta, Kunal is requested for admission. He's put his number. Ideal timeline. Okay, I will put that up. Is TOEFL compulsory? Yes. TOEFL is mandatory. TOEFL or IELTS. You have to write one of the two, Renuka. I'm already a participant. So whoever is the anonymous attendee, SAT subject tests are tests in individual subjects, right? In addition to the SAT. Right now, I encourage you strongly, if you are in class 12, don't worry about the subject tests because a lot of colleges have waived them. And write the SAT subject tests only if you have scored very high on SAT. What's your advice, Anamika and Sharmishta, for subject tests? It's really meant for people who are scoring high. So any one of you, if you want to unmute them.
So I agree with you, sir. SAT subject test should only be written if the SAT score is somewhere above 1450. The reason being that only the top universities require or recommend the subject test. So, and also we should only submit the SAT subject test score if the score is above 700, because that is something voluntarily that we're submitting. So it's always better to only submit the subject test score if the score is above 700. Also, 2 subject tests should be enough.
Yeah. Okay, what is the difference between SAT and ACT? Anandi, if you saw the slides, I had put it up. ACT has an additional section. It has an additional science section. I covered that in my presentation. Best schools for engineering: MIT, Cornell, Stanford, Berkeley, Caltech. Those are some of the best schools for engineering, Michigan and Arbor. What is the best way to study for TOEFL at home? Kathy, if you've been a Jamboree student, if you just write to us, we will get back to you. Ankit Kumar, I want admission counseling. Ankit, can you put your phone number up and we will contact you? Anybody who wants admissions counseling, and Sharmishta and Anamika, if you can just make a note of some of these numbers where people are asking. Satyam, can I join Jamboree now? Yes, you can join now and you can cover Satyam. You can leave your number and we can contact you. Good colleges for BBA, which accept, yeah. So good colleges for BBA are UPenn, University of Pennsylvania, University of Berkeley, University of Michigan, NYU, University, Babson College. These are some top ones for BBA. No, Suneher, no benefit of one versus the other. You can write either. Some students tend to score better on SAT, some on ACT. There is really no benefit of one over the other. My strong recommendation, if you've not been a science student, then preferably write SAT, because ACT also has an additional science section. Naga is saying write both SAT and AP subject test. AP, Naga, write only if you're targeting top universities. First write SAT and write SAT and cover the topmost. Benchmark percentage for top universities like Ivy is 90% plus. You are looking at 90% plus. Satyam, you can cover. I again mentioned, if you don't have math, I wouldn't recommend you taking math subject test. If you don't have math in high school, take some other subjects. Can a Canadian PR? Not much, Jaydev, it doesn't help. Score requirement for UC Berkeley, you have to look at 1450, 1500 plus other things. US citizen but studied in India, you will come under US, the definition of a US national. It's normally the color of the passport, right? But you will be competing with the Indian pool. Is it still, Kathy's asking to spread my options in US? Yeah, if you're a US citizen, Kathy, I would encourage you to apply to the state because you can get in-state tuition. Then I would not really encourage you to spread, but maybe a couple of options in other states. MUN is an extracurricular activity. Okay, let me take a breather and ask Sharmishta and Anamika, any questions you see which I didn't cover or any?
I think there are a couple of questions coming up about, very specifically about Canada.
Okay.
And there's one question that's asking about countries, the countries like Ireland, etc. So not the top destinations, but the lesser known destinations. If you could answer a couple questions about that.
Yeah. Would any of you want to take that, Anamika or Sharmishta? Or I can take it otherwise. Go ahead.
About Ireland?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So about Ireland, a few top universities in Ireland have already been covered in the presentation. The admission requirement, okay, so the admission requirement in Ireland again is the school scores. School scores play a major part of the application. And for the competitive requirement for the Ireland universities is between 85 to 90%. And for University College Dublin and Trinity College Dublin, it's slightly higher than 90%. Then about, okay, and also IELTS or TOEFL is again mandatory for Ireland. And extracurriculars also will play a part in scholarships. That's for Ireland.
Vineet, so there are a lot of questions that are coming up about extracurriculars, and there are a couple of specific questions about MUN and how it helps. Can we talk about that?
Okay. So MUNs are a key part of extracurricular and they help, but equally in extracurricular, you could have also done music, you could have also done sport, you could have done a variety of other activity, and all of that counts for extracurricular. MUN, lots of schools do MUN. If you are doing MUN, try that you climb up the ladder, whether you are chairing a committee, or we, whether you are the Secretary General, try that you do better in MUNs. But yes, MUNs are valuable. They count for quite a bit. You can't write APs in class 9, somebody asked. You know, APs are high level, college level courses. You will be able to do them only in 11th, and that also with study. Again, APs you are only writing if you are really targeting the top universities, right? APs you only have to target if you are targeting the top universities, right?
A lot of students are also asking about the Duolingo English test.
Yeah, that is now increasingly being accepted in place of TOEFL, right? So you can take that. Would you have specific information, Shamishta, on which are the ones taking it?
So most of the universities this year are accepting the Duolingo test. However, we're not quite sure if after the fall 20 intake, a lot of universities will be accepting. So I think for fall 21, students should prefer the TOEFL home edition. That is to be on the safer side.
Guinness World Record will definitely help whoever is asking VK2202. Jaidev, Canadian citizenship will not help you much in US admission, right? It may help you a little bit in scholarship, right? Okay, board results are important, Kunal, very important for admissions in US colleges. US citizen but studied in India, do we need to write TOEFL? Yes. Would you have, this is a tricky question for Nischala. Anamika and Sharmishta, what do you think? US citizen but studied in India, do they need to write TOEFL?
Shamishta, can I take this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. How the English proficiency works is that it elaborates on a person's ability to prove they are proficient in the language of English. So what happens is that it does not have anything to do with citizenship. What it has to do with is the curriculum of education that you are applying through. So if a student who is a passport holder of US or Canada, but is studying in India, will technically be considered as a person who is applying from the Indian curriculum of education, which is why you have to prove the English language proficiency, regardless of citizenship or a green card or a permanent residency.
Okay. Now, SAT and GPA both required. GPA is not a test. SAT is a test. GPA is whatever grades you've got, your marks in 9th, 10th, 11th. GPA is another name for that. And both are required. You see, US colleges will look at both. But if your GPA is lower, you can cover by SAT, right? We'll probably take questions for another 5 minutes. I know we are over the time. I'm about to finish 10th ICSC and moving to 11th ISC. Could you please advise me when I target SAT? Naga, I would advise you to write SAT in class 11. You are absolutely at the right time. So end of 11th, write the SAT. In 12th, June, August, September, write the subject test, right? These are the best timelines, right? Best school for business, UPenn is the number one, NYU, UPenn, these two are much in the U where you were asking otherwise. Edison, top, Harvard, Stanford. What else? I think we've covered a broad variety of questions.
So
don't worry about GPA. Somebody's asking, explain it in detail. Don't worry about GPA. Just report your marks in percentages. Don't worry. Go ahead, Anamika.
Yes, sir. There was a question if Harvard and MIT have waived the SAT requirement. Just take that.
I wouldn't know offhand. Would you remember, Shamishta? I don't think MIT has, right?
Yeah, MIT hasn't. Even Harvard hasn't actually. They
Harvard,
both
MIT both have not. Just for you to know, right? I think that's the short answer. Any other questions we have not covered? I think we've covered a variety. How much SAT score required to get in Southern California? Rupini, my sense is, what's your sense, Shamishta, for University of Southern California? 1400 plus or 1450?
1450 to 1480 plus.
Okay. SAT subject test, Aditya, I already elaborated. But please do call on any of the numbers. They are in individual subjects. They are different from SAT and required for top colleges. SAT subject tests, again, I'm repeating, are required. So first write SAT. If you only score above 1450, then only try the subject test. Otherwise, no need to look at subject tests. We are again and again repeating. SAT subject tests are needed only to apply to top colleges, and you should be writing only if you score 1450 plus in SAT. Okay. Any last one or two questions you think, Sharmishta, Anamika, which we've not covered? I've put my email ID again, and maybe I can ask Sharmishta and Anamika to put it too. So you can mail any of us. We've, if anybody wants to leave their phone numbers, again, if you want to leave your phone number and say test, then we will contact you for test. If you want to leave your phone number and say admissions, we will contact you for admissions counseling. And we've tried to answer most questions, I believe. But if some are still unanswered, you can write to any of us and we will answer them. You can also write to jamboreeindia@jamboreeindia.com. If you want help on our coaching, again, put your number and your name and say coaching. If you want help on admissions, put your number and say admissions, and we will contact you for admissions. Any closing words from you, both Sharmishta and Anamika, one by one, if you want to make any closing comments?
No, sir, I think you pretty much covered it. I think it's very important for students to understand, especially for US, that the is a holistic review, as Sharmishta mentioned. So taking care of every part of your application is equally important. It's not just the marks, it's not just the SAT. It's very important to multitask in this case, and that is what, if anyone needs assistance with, we are here. We've mentioned our email IDs. Please do email us if you have any questions or if you would want to have a one-on-one chat with us. We're always here.
Any closing comments, Sharmishta?
Yes, so I would like to thank everybody for joining us, first of all. And I think it was a very informative session. And also for the ones who are in class 12, even though the universities have gone test optional, but you should always consider taking the SAT, and because it is definitely going to add value to your profile and your application, and it will definitely help for a scholarship or financially.
So I think that's the big message. Even if universities are saying they are test optional, you should be writing the SAT. That's what we firmly believe in. And I think the second point Anamika made, your test alone is not enough. You have to work simultaneously on your extracurriculars, on your applications, on your essays. And Jamboree is there always for help. If you need, whether on your test or admissions, please do reach out to us. So on that note, we will end this webinar. Thank you so much for attending. And be safe and have a good weekend. Thank you. We will be ending this webinar now. The chat is still enabled for a couple of minutes. So if you want to put up your phone numbers, anything else, you are welcome to. Shimisha, and Namika, we noted some of these for admission. Then
yes, okay. Sir, we're taking down.
Yes, sir, we're noting it down.
Ankit, Satyam Sharma, Ankit Kumar, Kunal, Jaydev. Okay, thank you for joining in. I'm going to log off. Will you take down all the numbers? Maybe another 5 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.